Hello HOD Creative, welcome to another exciting tutorial on how to make this beautiful turban cap you're seeing right here on your screen. Is a body pleated and also a padded turban cap. So if this beauty is something you know you will love to learn, you just have to watch this video to the end. And if you have not subscribed, please do well to hit the subscribe button, and let's get right into the class. Alright, welcome back. So these are the materials we are going to be using. You need your fabric, and I'm using a raw silk here, a stretchy fabric. You need a stretchy fabric. So this is a raw silk material, and 1 yard is more than enough. 1 yard is more than enough. And you also need a foam, an 1/2 inches foam or a thick wadding. You can also use a wadding, that's a thick wadding, an 1/2 inches foam or a thick wadding. So let's get right into the measurement. So the first measurement we have here is the band, the one we are going to use to create the band. So, and note my fabric is on fold. It's on fold. So you go ahead and take your measurement on fold. So the unfold part is the stretchy part, which I have 13.5 inches for the width. And by the time you open it up, you have 27 inches. You have 27 inches when you open it up. So the length is 15 inches. Yes, the length is 15 inches. So the width is 27 inches when you open it up, and when it's on fold, 13.5 by 15 inches. And the 27 inches part is the stretchy part. Take note of that, is the stretchy part, right? So for the body of the turban is also on fold, and the width is 14 inches on fold. If you open it up, you have 28 inches. If we open it up, we have 28 inches. Right here is 14 inches on fold. 14 inches on fold. When you open up, you have 28 inches. So take note of that. So the length of this is 30 inches. You actually don't need up to 30 inches because we'll still trim it out at the end of the day. But our advice is better to have excess than not having enough. Do you understand? It's better to have excess than not having enough. So take note that the 28 inches part is the stretchy part. It has to be stretchy, the stretchy part. Now then we have our handle. This is the handle we are going to be using, and the measurement for the handle is 3 inches by 10 inches. 3 inches by 10 inches. That is the measurement for the handle, and you cut out 2 of that. So you go ahead and fold it and slash the down part. It's optional. If you don't want to, you can leave it 4 corner. It's optional. So we'll start with the band. We'll take our band, and then you go ahead and pleat and fold it the way you are seeing on the screen. Exactly the way you are seeing on the screen. You go ahead and fold it. So when you're done folding, take your measurement, which is 2 inches. So what you are folding over is 2 inches, 2.5 inches, sorry. So you go ahead and fold over 2.5 inches, and you pin it down. So you repeat the same process, 2.5 inches, 2.5 inches, and you go ahead and pin it down. Right. So I hope you are following. Always use your pin. I've always emphasized on this. Always use your pin. When you use your pin, your work tends to come out neatly. So go ahead and pin your work down, your measurement down. That's a 2.5 inches. You measure it all the way down. Right. So when you are done pinning, just the way you are seeing, you go ahead and fold in 1/2 inches. So you remember you pin 2, you fold over 2.5 inches. So you go ahead and fold in the 1/2 inches, and you stitch it all the way down. When you are done, turn it to the right side and make your pleats. Make your pleat. So we are going to be making 4 pleats on this band. We are going to be making 4 pleats. So you fold over and you stitch down, fold over and stitch down, just the way you are seeing on the screen. So we are going to be making 4 pleats with this band. So this is what I get after making my pleats. So this is the 4 in 4 layers of pleats. Now try your best and make sure your pleat is closer a little, at least by 1/2 inches different. Then make sure you have up to half inches left at the down of the pleat to join it to your body of the cap, to join it to the body of the cap. So go ahead and notch the midpoint of the two, that's the band, you get the midpoint, and the body of the cap that we measured earlier, you also get the midpoint. So when you're done getting your midpoint, you go ahead and pin midpoint to midpoint, midpoint to midpoint, to get to be able to sew it so one side is no longer than the other side. That's the essence of you notching it. So when you're done, you pin it all the way down to the right, pin it all the way down to the left. Now take note that you can also cut your base and your band the same measurement, but if you notice, mine is just 1 inches different. That the band is 27 inches while the body of the cap is 28 inches. Why? Is because in case when I'm done sewing and there's any part that is not straight, I'll be able to straighten it properly. That is why I have that one longer than the other one. But if you think you can sew properly without it having any slant, please go ahead and cut the same measurement. So this is what we get. So the next thing we are going to do is to go ahead and make the remaining pleats. So watch the way I'm doing it, watch your screen the way it's going. So just go ahead and fold in your pleats and pin it. The fifth one, we made 3 with the band, so this 5th one you go ahead and pin it and make it very close so that the layers will look as if it is hand pleat, not machine pleat. So make it very close, make the pleats very close. So you go ahead and pin it all the way to the right, you pin it all the way to the left, right? So when you're done pinning, you take to your sewing machine, you stitch it all the way down like so. Then you go ahead and make your 6th pleat. We are making 6 pleats before the padding. We are going to be making 6 pleats. So this is the 6th one. You also go ahead and pleat. Now if you take note, the last 2 pleats, I'm making it very close. I'm making it very close, as in the space is not too much. You can see how nicely laid my pleats are, and they are following each other very closely. Now, so the next thing we are going to do now is to make our band. Now take note of this back, the band that we attached. You can see that even after making our pleat, it's not covered. So take note of that. Even after making the 2 pleats, the band is still there. So that band is serving as a pad for the front part, so it has to be there. So the next thing is to, from your last stitch, that's from that last stitch we stitch, you are going to be measuring 4.5 inches. After you fold your fabric the way you are seeing on the screen, fold it and measure 4.5 inches, 4.5 inches. So when you measure your 4.5 inches, you go ahead and pin it and lift that back, lift it up. Don't pin that back down. Look at it, don't pin it down, lift it up. Now you continue with your measurements. 4.5 inches, you can use 4, you can use 3.5, depends on how wide you want your part to be, but don't go more than 4.5, because my 4.5 was a little wide, but it's still okay. So 4 inches is very okay. 4 inches is perfect. But you can do 4.5, you can do 4 inches, you can do 3.5. So you keep pinning, and make sure you are not pinning that excess that is remaining at the band. Make sure you are not pinning it down. Make sure you are not pinning it down. That is why I'm showing you that back, so that you will see that I am not pinning it down. While pinning, I'm lifting it up, and I'm pinning it under. I don't know if I'm making sense. Please just watch it properly, watch it very well. I'm sure you will understand what I'm doing here. So you go ahead and keep pinning until, can you see, I did not pin it down. that part is not pinned down. So you go ahead and pin all the way down with your 4.5 inches. That is, if you are using my measurements, go ahead and pin it all the way down. Right, so when you're done pinning, you take it to your sewing machine and you stitch down without stitching that part. Look at it, it's not pinned down and you are not stitching it. So you are stitching all the way, but before you stitch, you are going to measure. Okay, you are going to measure 3/4. That's 0.75. 3/4, not up to 1 inches, but you can do 1 inches. But here I used 3/4. That's 0.75. From my last stitch, I marked 0.75. So that is what I'm marking now. So you go ahead and mark either 0.75, that's 3/4 inches, or 1 inches. 1 inches is also fine. You can go ahead and measure 1 inches. So by measuring this, you have skipped that band at the back. You won't climb it. So, and if you are also sewing, always check to make sure you are lifting it up. You are lifting it up and you are sewing. You are lifting it up, you are sewing. So you go ahead and stitch it all the way down. You go ahead and stitch it all the way down. So as you can see, I've gone ahead to stitch my down, and as you can see, my band, I did not stitch it down. Can you see? I did not stitch it down. It's still open. So this is what we have for the pad. Now this is when you get your measurement. So you just collapse it this way. When you're done collapsing it, you go ahead and measure whatever you have there. That is the foam you are going to cut out. So here, when I measure it, I have 3 inches. I have 3 inches after measuring it. So I went ahead to cut my foam also 3 inches. That's your half inches from 3 inches. I guess this is like 3.5, and I'm going to use it that way. So but you can do the same thing, it will sit properly. So then the length, you measure whatever you have there too. You remember we cut out 28 inches. So you go ahead and minus 2 inches from it. So you remember we measured 28 inches. I have 28 inches here, but I'll end up trimming it out later. So just go ahead and trim out 2 inches from the right, 2 inches from the left, or you minus the 2 inches and cut out whatever you have left. Then you insert it into your loop. Do we call it loop or big pleats? So if you have watched this video to this point and you have not subscribed, please do well to hit my subscribe button. Turn on your notification bell, because the notification bell is for you. The subscribe button is for me. So please hit my subscribe button and turn on your notification bell. Right. So this is what we have after inserting our foam, and you go ahead and arrange it properly and make sure it's laying very well. So when you're done, you pin it down at this middle the way you see me doing. You just pin it out to keep it in place so that you can sew it, because if you do not pin it down and you go ahead and sew, when you're done sewing, one side would have shifted. Remember, we collapse it will shift. So you can see what I mean. I cut out this excess because your foam does not have to get to the back. Your foam does not have to get to the back, because if it gets to the back, you will not be able to sew it on your machine. It will not pass through your machine. Even if it's industrial machine, it will not pass through it. So it's better you just cut out that foam. You don't even need it there. So go ahead and sew your handle. Just stitch it all the way down and bring it out from the wrong side to the right side, just the way you are seeing. So when you're done with that, you go ahead and fold your already pleated cap into 2, just the way I fold it to the right side, just the way you are seeing. Go ahead and measure 9 or 9.5 inches, 9 or 9.5 inches from the both side. And if it's a small head size, you measure 8 inches. But or a big head side, and some that might want to use what's it called, turban lifts, it's better you use 9.5 or 10 inches. So go ahead and stitch it all the way down. You will see the placing of the handle, place it that same way, and go ahead and stitch it down. So as you can see, I've already stitched mine, and this is what we have. Then fold your cap into 2. Now when you're done folding, make sure the band is on the same line. It's the band you should go for first. Pin your band first, make sure it's on the same line. So when you're done pinning your band, then you check the back if there's a slant. Like I said earlier, this is why I added some allowance to my base, so that in case there's any slant, I can cut it out. Now you go ahead and measure 14 inches or 15 inches. 14 inches or 15 inches. I measured 14 inches here. So you just go ahead and curve it the way we curve our turban cap. Then you go ahead and cut it. So you can see I have a little slant, and that is what I am cutting. Can you see? Now imagine if I did not have excess, what will happen? My measurement will be short. So can you see? Because mostly all this, if you are making any pleat, there is always slants a little, because you might not be able to gauge it properly. So to be on the safe side, increase your measurements for the base. Now I've gone ahead to sew, and you weave it. Please weave. Remember, there's no lining. And also weave this band part, also weave it, because I end up weaving mine. So that's why I'm not running my gather stitch. You go ahead and run your gather stitch also, but I will not be running my gather stitch because I'm still going to weave it. So if you're done weaving yours, go ahead and run your gather stitch all the way to the band. All the way to the band, you run your gather stitch. So when you're done, place it on your mannequin and you tie at the back, or you wear it on your head. As you can see, it's so beautiful and it's very easy to make. And then your padded, the part you padded, you can go ahead and use your candle gum to gum it down, or you use your needle and thread and tack it invisible tacking, right? Especially if you are giving it to a client, so that part will not be shifting, but it does not shift most time. But just to be on the safe side, pad it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.